They're still giving up points because they're playing so many high possession games. But what were they doing? They're pressuring, they're forcing turnovers. The zone is the exact opposite of that.
Right. You're sitting back and letting it come to you.
Slowing games down. And so is that maybe they need to do a little bit of that? Okay, but you're not, if you aren't working on zone, you can't just call a 2-3 zone and expect the communication to be good. Or especially a 1-3-1 zone.
505-246-0610, 888-922-0610. This one says, with so many folks disappointed, this is Lobo basketball. Get everyone excited, then subpar performance end of the season, NIT bound, Air Force loss will drive Lobos there. Okay. What we're going to find out. 3 years in, would NIT be successful? Big picture. From where the program was a couple of years ago. I know you don't want to hear it. Nobody does. Nobody wants to hear that at all.
Not this year.
Probably not, right? Probably not.
Last year, yes. Even with the start, way it played out, when you're living that bubble life and seeing missed opportunities.
You weren't even on the bubble for a long time.
I'm talking about I'm talking about this season.
But I mean, there was a good part of that stretch where you were solid.
Yes.
Brian, good morning. You're on the Sports Animal. Hello, Brian.
Hey, I'm not going to begin to act like I'm a coach and tell Coach Pitino what he needs to do. He knows what to do. He'll get it figured out. And I think if there is a lot of frustration. I think what really has caused the frustration was the Air Force loss.
Yeah.
Had we not lost that game, we wouldn't be nearly as, desperate right now.
Yeah, I think that's right. I think that's 100% right. That was the one that just came out of nowhere where you can't explain it, right? You can explain getting beaten Boise. It's a pretty damn good team, right?
But at home to Air Force, I mean, that's going to come back to – that's going to be the oil in the ointment right there.
Very well may be.
And like I said, talking about firing the coach, come on, that's nonsense. Guys.
Yeah, I haven't heard a lot of that.
The program's on the rise.
Yeah, no, and Brian, I appreciate the call. Thank you for that. I haven't heard a lot of the fire. I saw a couple of them on the Twitter, the X, or whatever it's called these days. Whatever you kids are calling it these days, damn it. Yeah, I think that's asinine. Fire the coach stuff. But you are getting that already, aren't you?
Sports, baby.
I know. But I'm going to go back to the premise of this. It's what passion is, man. And that's part of what Richard says he loves about the program, right? The passion of the program. It's a basketball town. You all love that program. And when you're putting 15,450 whatever in there on a regular basis and you're selling the place out and the passion of winning and you beat San Diego State and you beat Utah State and you're banging your chest and talking about how you beat 3 ranked teams in that building and they keep going down. That's passion and it's beautiful. But that same passion is going to manifest when you lose 5 out of 8 and lose to Air Force at home. And I think he understands that. I don't think he's angry at it. I would assume JJ listening to Richard talk about how the kid should put down the social media. I'm going to guess he's not listening to this show and he's not looking at social media and he didn't care. He's trying to figure out how to beat Fresno State, which is the right answer. But that's where all this comes from. Look, I think when we step away from this, nobody in their right mind is saying, fire Richard Pitino. Right? I mean, I think when we're all said and done.
I wouldn't be saying that.
No, nor would I. Now, maybe I'm wrong. House isn't coming back because he's out of eligibility. MASH, I guess, has an opportunity to come back for a 5th year, right?
Yes.
And you're gonna have a hard time convincing me that somehow you're gonna be better. You're just better without Jamal Mashburn. I got it. He hasn't been the same guy offensively this year. He hasn't been the same monster of the mid-range. But there's no way you're going to convince me that you're better off without him. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Hour.
The madness.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
We aren't all born with the same opportunities. But it's the people who care that change everything.
Get ready, Sprout, get ready!
My coach. My teacher. My older sisters. My grandma. My brother. My tutor. My dad and my mom.
As New Mexicans, it's up to all of us to do our part.
So that no child goes without love.
And no family has to do it all on their own.
They're all our children. Every single person is called to make a difference in the life of a child.
It's up to all of us to do our part.
To pull together.
Pull together.
Pull together.
To make New Mexico the best place to be a kid.
I was born in New Mexico. I grew up on these streets. I got in trouble here, and I fought my way back in boot camp. I love New Mexico, especially the people. Now I'm using my training, tenacity, and energy to fight for you. I'm Adam Oki, lawyer, fighter, and New Mexican. I was a local athlete here in New Mexico, so I'm proud to support your local athletes.
Young driver, this one. Hard to get her out. She'd been drinking. This one. Both of them gone. They'd been drinking, and he drove clear off the road. This was my family. Drunk driver hit us. And my wife and our daughter, they didn't make it.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Everguard Roofing and Solar. For nearly 20 years, Everguard Roofing and Solar has been working with New Mexicans to enhance their homes and businesses. For all your roofing and solar needs in New Mexico, call 505-821-9543.
Hey, look! It's Dwight Goodman!
Boom! This place is hot. Let's see if anyone needs my help. How about I drive you madman home, huh?
I got this, Dwight. I'm the designated driver. Boom.
Sweet. Does anyone need Dwight's help getting home tonight?
No thanks, Romeo. I've got a taxi all lined up.
Drive safe, Dwight. Boom! Boom!
What's going on, Lobo Nation? Ja'Cory Krosky-Mirror here.
And I'm Devin Dampier. The Lobo football team is going through some changes, but we're here to stay.
We'll put in the work on the field and in the weight room, but we'll need your help off the field.
505 Sports Adventure is leading the charge in the NIL space.
And you can be part of it.
Shorty, she better than all my intentions. Locked in, shorty, you got my attention. See your baby, I get you the business. Touchdown and pay you a visit.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is Pro View. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows.
Asking about the coach. I'm thinking about Pitino, and let me just tell you why I'm not even entertaining the conversation. Well, is it time to fire the coach? Okay, and I'll tell you why. First of all, it's 3 years in, and I know where this program was, and it isn't even arguable to me. And I saw the comparison. Somebody's going to throw it at me. Paul Weir's conference record compared to Richard Pitino's, and it was very similar. This program's in a much better place, and Paul Weir stacked up early, not late. It's not arguable to me. This program's in a way better place than it was when he got here. So I'm not even entertaining the conversation. Do you fire the coach? If you want to have a conversation with me, is there a trend? And I've read this, everywhere that I read that there's a trend that Richard Pitino's teams don't finish strong. We can have the conversation about the last couple of years. But I just, JJ, during the break, somebody was talking to me a little bit about, well, I mean, do you start thinking about the coach? Everybody's responsible. It's the players, it's the coaching staff, it's everybody. But I'm not ready to entertain the fire the coach conversation because this program's in a way better spot. You're 3 years in. To me, that's not even, if I'm the AD, that doesn't even enter my mind.
I'm there with you. I'm not thinking about having to replace my head basketball coach because I'm going to fire him after this season.
All right, let's try this again. Al, good morning. You're on the Sports Animal. Hello, Al.
I'm sorry my cell phone kicked out on me, believe it or not.
No, I totally believe it. What's up?
Look, I want your opinion and mainly JJ's opinion about Saturday's Lobo game.
Women.
The women.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah. My wife and I were there. The final play happened right in front of us. And the referee never, ever called a foul until they went to the review. How can they do that?
I thought they called a foul on the floor, on the baseline, because the ref made the signal of counting.
Well, how come he didn't come over to the scores table and give the number of the player? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because they went over and they started looking at the clock when it was all what they spent.
But they put up the number and call the foul on the player. Is that?
Yeah,
they did. Okay, yeah.
Now, this was before they went to the review.
But I don't know if they put it up on the scoreboard because I think there was a lot of even confusion at the scores table of what just occurred in that moment.
Well, my wife and I are really ticked about this because back in the day when I refereed basketball, okay, an old referee told me one time, you never make a call underneath the basket to get yourself involved in win or a loss unless there's a critical foul where somebody gets knocked over or somebody gets tackled or it's so obvious you have to call it. Now, to me, that foul was not obvious. And then they take 15 minutes to review the damn thing, and my wife and I are just upset, because the women played very well. It was a tough game. It was a ground-out game. And then to get it taken away from them by an official's call who didn't even call it on the floor. That's what upset us.
Yeah, and that had to be just excruciating, sitting there and waiting for to figure out what happened. Are we going to overtime or what's going on? And
then when they find out, when I found out that we found out that they called a foul on the play, when there was no indication there was a foul, they spent 15 minutes reviewing the damn thing, and then they called a foul.
Yeah, that had to be rough.
I mean, I've never heard of such a thing. I've talked to a lot of officials over the years, and they say the same thing. You do not call a foul in that situation unless it's a really obvious foul. Like somebody gets pushed, somebody gets elbowed in the face that everybody sees. I just couldn't believe it. My wife and I are still upset about it because it happened right in front of us.
Al, appreciate the call, and thanks for your passion on this, and sorry about that. Thanks for the call, Al. Don't be a stranger.
Have a good day.
Yeah, you too. You were there, and so as you're calling the game, and JJ, as you know, is the voice of the Lobo women. So again, let me refresh you if you didn't see. Last play of the game, Nevada gets an offensive rebound, 0.7 of a second to go. Ball, she puts it back in, and there's a whistle. It was a 2-point game. The bucket tied it, and she got a free throw with nobody with 0.7 of a second to go, and that won the game for Nevada.
Yes, because the Lobos got an inbound, got its Pollard. She put up.
Yeah, that won the game.
Yeah, it did. So I was trying. I don't know what these. I was trying to get the refs' attention.
Yeah.
Because they spent the whole time talking to the Nevada broadcast about what they called and what they answered. So I was a little in the dark at the very end. Because they just walked right over there and told him the whole story for like 90 seconds.
Really?
Yes. So it was a rough spot to be in.
Like, who are you?
I was trying to get an answer, like, hey, can you come down over here to figure it out? But once they lined back up on the line, At that point in time, okay, I know what happened. There was a basket, there was a foul, they put 0.7 of a second back on the clock. And if you watch the play, it's not an obvious. It's Nia Wilson goes over to contest the shot, and Gibbons falls down, but I don't think she fell down because it was major contact. Like, it was just a putback off balance. And my initial view of it, I did see the baseline official go like that.
So you saw
count
the
it
foul call
with a whistle. And so that was my assumption of the play.
Stephanie, you want to talk about that final call too? Good morning, Stephanie.
Hi. I'm in total agreement with the guy who just talked about that. I did not see any call anywhere, any motion of any of the refs for that. And so I'm like, okay, well, we're going to go into overtime. And then they do all that forever, taking, like you were saying.
Yeah, it's excruciating.
It was very frustrating. And I agree totally with what he was saying. So I just thought I'd tell you, we were there too. We don't sit that close, but I kept looking and I never saw any motion from any of the refs. And then I'd like to mention that previously one of our players got mowed down and they didn't call anything, and it seemed like our team kind of stopped because they would expect a call because there should have been a call, an offensive foul earlier, and then they made a 3 from that. So I don't know, the reffing was pretty bad, but I always say that the officiating is the X factor in almost every game.
Truth.
Unless you're way, way ahead. And it's very frustrating because if they would only call the same on both ends and both halves, be consistent.
That's all you ask. Hey, Stephanie, don't be a stranger, and appreciate the call. Thanks. Thanks.
Thanks. Bye.
Thanks. All right, keep them coming. Look at this. This got it going. The text line says Al is pissed. Yeah, he was pissed.
Well, it was such a frustrating. It was the biggest crowd of the season, over 6,200 people. The atmosphere is great, and lose a 19-point lead. They led by 19.
Yeah, then there's that. Then there's that.
Yeah.
Fred, you were there. You want to talk about ladies as well? Hello, Fred.
Yeah. Well, the one thing I didn't understand, and maybe JJ can say something, but I know it wasn't in the paper. No one said anything about it, but when they had the 4-point whatever seconds it was in the game left, we looked up at the scoreboard, and we had 3 fouls. So we had a foul to give. And no one's talked about that for the last few days. And I swear our whole section was yelling, foul, because there was only 3 fouls. We had a foul to give. I don't know if JJ can look it up and see if that's if it can even look it up. I don't even know where you look it up on something like that. But why didn't we call a foul? And the minute the girl got the ball, I was just questioning that. So maybe JJ, I'm going to hang up and see what JJ says about that.
All right, Fred, thanks. You got it?
Because fans want to foul all the time, and coaches do not want to put someone at the free throw. Even if you have a foul to give, because just what happens? What happens if that person just happens to get in their shooting on a quick inbounds play with 4.7 seconds? And a 2-point game, and they're going for 3. Play defense, get 3.
Howard, good morning. You're on the Sports Animal. Hello, Howie.
Good morning, guys. Sounds to me like nobody better get in Al's way today.
Seriously, Al is choked.
Al's pissed, and I can understand why. It was kind of a real questionable thing, and I didn't have the pleasure of listening to JJ's broadcast this time. I was busy Saturday, but anyway, I'm jumping over to the men's. I'm kind of ticked off at a lot of Lobo fans. I mean, I heard one guy say something about, well, can we get an NIT home game? I'm like, come on, man. We got to take care of our home floor on Wednesday. Got to go into a tough environment on Saturday, Utah State. Take care of business there. And unless they've done something with the Mountain West tournament that I'm unaware of, we still have a shot at winning that tournament. Or finishing and maybe a strong finish in the championship game, and still the possibility of a not large bid.
Oh, that's true.
And I think the worst part I've heard is Fire Patino. I mean, we've been waiting for a coach like Patino since Steve Alford left. And I think we need to slow our roll on that talk.
Yep.
You guys have a good rest of your day.
All right, Howard, see you. Text line, Patino needs more time. Once House and Mashburn are gone, Lobos will get over the hump. Best years are ahead. I just, look, man, I don't, there's a lot of things I sense the frustration. The last thing that I'm thinking if I'm the AD is firing my head coach right now. There's just, I got a program that is in really good shape that has become nationally prominent again. Whether or not you make the NCAA tournament, will I be disappointed if this team doesn't get into the tournament? I will. Will I feel that maybe they underachieved? Yeah, JJ, I will. I will. I feel that this is an NCAA tournament team, and if they don't get in, but I'm not firing my coach. I'm just not. Marty, good morning. You're on the Sports Animal. Hi, Marty.
Hey, guys. Some observations. I talking to a friend just a little while ago. I feel like it's sort of ending like last year, where you're not playing your best basketball at the end of the year, where you should be playing your best basketball at the end of the year. Then I think for the Lobos to be successful in this upcoming Mountain West tournament, I think Coach Patino is going to have to go back to the drawing board and change his rotations a little bit. I know he can be a little stubborn he's going to have to do it. You're going to have to really go deep in the bench. And I know I'm going to hear that, and I never get it. I never understood this as a fan. Well, that's just a rotation. Why? It's not working. Why? You got other players on the bench. Let's see what you can do. I think sometimes when you go Amsil, you try to play him as a big. He's not a big. I mean, he's got limitations. He's a shooter. Play him as a shooter. If you're going to do that, just put Forsling in. I think he's a better big under the basket. And then you got, like I said, you can utilize Washila, you got Webb. You got to go deep in your bench, and I think the philosophy is going to have to change. If you go with the same thing, same result, you're going to have the same result. I guarantee it. I'll even buy you guys, I'll buy that whole 6-cent crude lunch. But that's my take on it.
All right. No, appreciate you, Marty. Thanks.
All right.
Like how deep do you go into rotation? And again, you look at almost everybody in America. They're at a 7 to 8 man rotation. I don't know how deep you're going to go. And if you want to tell me you want to switch things up and try to get somebody in there, and yeah, I'm listening to you. But
I think Sebastian Forsling is a great teammate, and you need players like that on your roster that are going to be positive, that are going to bring effort day in and day out. He would have been cooked by Dagon.
Well, they put him in. There's a reason. There just is. If you think he's the answer, I'm going to disagree.
And Marty's screaming at us right now like, you dopes. I don't ask any coach in America why they get set on a rotation the way they do in a season.
But they do.
And don't open it up.
Yeah. All right, we'll wrap it up. 505-246-0610. Keep them coming. Got time? Still got time for you. Emails Jeff at sportsanimalabq.com, JJ at sportsanimalabq.com. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
We aren't all born with the same opportunities. But it's the people who care that change everything.
Get ready, Sprout, get ready.
My coach, my teacher, my older sisters, my grandma, my brother, my tutor, my dad, and my mom.
As New Mexicans, it's up to all of us to do our part.
So that no child goes without love.
And no family has to do it all on their own.
They're all our children. Every single person is called to make a difference in the life of a child.
It's up to all of us to do our part.
To pull together.
Pull together.
Pull together.
To make New Mexico the best place to be a kid.
I was born in New Mexico. I grew up on these streets. I got in trouble here, and I fought my way back in boot camp. I love New Mexico, especially the people. Now I'm using my training, tenacity, and energy to fight for you. I'm Adam Oki, lawyer, fighter, and New Mexican. I was a local athlete here in New Mexico, so I'm proud to support your local athletes.
Young driver, this one. Hard to get her out. She'd been drinking. This one. Both of them gone. They'd been drinking, and he drove clear off the road. This was my family. Drunk driver hit us. And my wife and our daughter, they didn't make it.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Everguard Roofing and Solar. For nearly 20 years, Everguard Roofing and Solar has been working with New Mexicans to enhance their homes and businesses. For all your roofing and solar needs in New Mexico, call 505-821-9543.
Hey, look! It's Dwight Goodman! Boom! This place is hot. Let's see if anyone needs my help. How about I drive you madman home, huh?
I got this, Dwight. I'm the designated driver. Boom.
Sweet. Does anyone need Dwight's help getting home tonight?
No thanks, Romeo. I've got a taxi all lined up.
Drive safe, Dwight.
Boom! Boom!
What's going on, Lobo Nation? Ja'Cory Krosky-Miller here.
And I'm Devin Dampier. The Lobo football team's going through some changes, but we're here to stay.
We'll put in the work on the field and in the weight room, but we'll need your help off the field.
505 Sports Venture is leading the charge in the NIL space.
And you can be part of it.
Shorty, she better than all my intentions. Like and shorty, you got my attention. CEO, baby, I get you the business. Touchdown and pay you a visit.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is Pro View. From pros to prep. All your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows.
Three-point shot. It's up. It's no good. The putback wasn't in time. Did they call a foul and a basket? Did they count the basket and call the foul?
Yep.
The Lobos are waiting to see what the call is going to be. The missed shot, the ball goes up, and that was in time. And did they call a foul on that? Because if so, Nevada is going to be shooting a free throw to win this game.
That's how it went. JJ Buck along the UNM Sports Radio Network Saturday out at the pit. Lobo women get beat 83-82 on that play in the ensuing free throw. And just text line says, I just watched the replay of the Lobo women. The baseline official signals foul on the last play. And this other one says, Stephanie is mildly agitated as well. I think Lobo women's fan is as pissed off as men's fan.
That one hurt.
No.
Losing it the way you did it at the end, but then playing as well as you did early to get a 19-point lead. Drop that game at home. Luckily, it was a wild Saturday where Boise State goes out there and loses to Air Force home by 1. So the Lobos stay in second place by virtue of having the tiebreaker over Wyoming. Boise State is a game back of those, and here we go.
We had a caller named Al who was at that game who was really upset about it. I said him and his wife are still upset. Text line says, does Al have a 5th year left? We could use him on a Lobo men's team as the enforcer. Just try to come into the lane on Big Al. I dare you. Al was choked. This says it's not high school hoops. Division I programs have 6'8", 6'9" inside players, and the guards are insanely quick. Yeah. Which is also, by the way, the Lobos. Lobos have big guys, and their guards are insanely quick as well. That part is also very, very real. All right, what do you got to know as you go through your day? Big news in the NFL today. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers have agreed to a 2-year extension with their free agent wide receiver. He was the best wide receiver that was potentially on the market, right? Mike Evans, 52 years, 2 years. Let me do that again, because 52 years is a long time. 2 years, $52 million. 2 years, $52 million, $35 million guaranteed. So he will stay with the Buccaneers. I think this is huge for Tampa Bay. And I think it's huge for Baker Mayfield. I think they keep Baker Mayfield.
It's huge for the NFL because Mike Evans was the top wide receiver on a lot of teams' free agency lists. And you're seeing that reported across the board this morning, how all these teams wanted to have a chance at Mike Evans. And Tampa Bay did the right thing here. It's maximizing a moment, knowing, all right, Baker Mayfield, he's going to try to get his bag in a big contract, but you need to find a solid middle ground in that negotiation for another 2 to 3 years with Baker Mayfield to stay competitive. And this is a conversation that we're always going to have, if you overpay for good with quarterback. But for Tampa Bay to say, hey, we can be good enough, win this division, get to the playoffs, continue to build a team. Because Mike Evans for 2 years, even if it's a high number, that's great. Because then you're not worried about it for 3 or 4 years, messing around with that. Get the last really productive years out of Mike Evans and maximize what you assume is going to be that offense quarterback by Baker Mayfield.
Yep. All right, I'm looking at bracket updates. Jerry Palm's latest was yesterday. Lobos are a last 4 team in, playing in Dayton in his bracket. Lenardi has not updated it since before the Boise State game. And then you said you saw somebody else update the Bubble Watch today, DC? Who are you looking at?
It was on ESPN. I think his last name's Gazaway.
All right, so there was a Bubble Watch update there, and it wasn't good for New Mexico, right? As far as
they were listed as having work to do.
Well, yeah, I think that's obvious. As you go through the last week of now the regular season, although you're going to have conference tournaments. Did you watch Gonzaga the last couple of days? It was a little bit of a commercial on why Gonzaga should be off the bubble. And I'm not going to lie. I read you their losses the other day. They were all quad 1 losses. I don't know why everybody's questioning Gonzaga. But they went up and they handled St. Mary's, who was undefeated in the West Coast Conference. They handled San Francisco, 2 quad 1 wins. Why are they still hovering on the bubble? What am I missing on Gonzaga? But by the way, a team, and Graham Ike
it's just been
is legit.
The Wyoming transfer?
Yes.
That Graham Ike?
That same Graham Ike. Yes.
It's just it's one of those, because you expect Gonzaga to be 1, 2, 3. Like in that conversation, seed line, and this has just been a different year where they weren't one of those 1, 2, 3 teams, but they are a solid tournament team.
They're 24-6. Their losses were to Purdue, who's number 2 in the country. Washington, who's a nice team. UConn, who's the defending champion, who's number 1 in the country. San Diego State, who's the defending national runner-up, who's number 18 in the country. And they lost in conference to Santa Clara, who's decent, and St. Mary's, who's very good. They beat Syracuse. They beat UCLA. They beat USC. They
don't have a bad loss.
They don't.
They're going to end up, you get to the West Coast Conference Tournament, probably with 7 to 8, quad 1 and 2 wins. They're at 6 combined right now. They're going to be a 6 or 7 seed.
You think they're going to get that high?
Well, they were an 8 on Sunday.
In some, and then I've seen them like literally last team in.
And they're much better than the last.
Yeah. On the article that DC referred to on ESPN, the work to do teams. Few bubble teams talking about New Mexico have seen their fortunes turn as quickly as New Mexico. 7 days ago, Lobos took the floor as a projected 9 seed. Then Richard Pitino's team lost by 1 at home to Air Force. Watched their stock drop in the mock brackets, and they're in trouble, is basically what it says. Last 4 in as of now. All right, tomorrow, working on a bunch of stuff for you. Kenny Thomas will be here at what time?
9 o'clock.
Yeah, 9 o'clock. It's time we do, Kenny. Jim Rome Show is next. Heard with Colin Cowards after that. 2 Men On comes your way at 4 o'clock. And then we're back with award-winning radio tomorrow morning starting at 7 a.m. DC, great work today. Lots of calls today. Really good content today. Keep it coming. Adrian looks great on the visual side as well. Big day for you.
Huge day.
Enjoy it. Safe travels to Fresno. We'll talk to you from California tomorrow, huh?
Indeed.
All right. Safe travels. Be good to each other, please. Be kind, loving, caring, and sharing. We'll smell you tomorrow.
would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
For your surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Young driver, this one. Hard to get her out. She'd been drinking. This one. Both of them gone. They'd been drinking, and he drove clear off the road. This was my family. Drunk driver hit us. And my wife and our daughter, they didn't make it.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Everguard Roofing and Solar. For nearly 20 years, Everguard Roofing and Solar has been working with New Mexicans to enhance their homes and businesses. For all your roofing and solar needs in New Mexico, call 505-821-9543.
Hi, my name is Daniel Chavez, and this is my business partner, David Chavez. We are the owners of Indeed Safety. Indeed Safety is a local safety consulting company helping our clients with their safety needs for their projects.
One of the things we pride ourselves as a construction safety company is helping our men and women in construction get home safe every day to their families. Indeed Safety is a proud supporter of ProView Network.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number 1. Cover it with green stuff, 1 scoop is not enough. Find a booth that's real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Network.